Hi there, thank you so much for joining me today. This video is going to be my 5 favorite and least favorite makeup empties from 2017. Keep in mind for my least favorites, these are 5 products that I didn't like and I wouldn't repurchase, but they're still products that I was able to use up. So they weren't so terrible that I couldn't use them up. I do want to point out that this video idea is inspired by another YouTuber. Her name is Rebecca. She has a channel called Panning and Stuff. If you guys like Project Pans, if you guys like Empties, please go check her channel out. I have seen this woman pan an entire Urban Decay Vice lipstick palette. She just put up a video of all of her makeup empties for 2017 and she has an empty eyeshadow palette in there. She has empty face palettes. Like, the fact that she can go through so many products is just astounding. She doesn't know who I am, but I will link her video, the 2 videos I talked about, below, because I do think that they're really interesting. So this video is kind of inspired by her idea. She had like a top 5, bottom 5 of her makeup empties from last year too. So I thought that was a really good idea. I didn't buy any new makeup in 2017, so I don't have any new products to talk about. So this is kind of my version of a yearly favorites. I'm gonna start with my 5 favorites. The first one is a foundation that I used at the beginning of the year, and so I did not talk about it in an empties video because I didn't have my channel yet. And that was the Too Faced Born This Way foundation. I loved the formula for that. It is a more expensive foundation, but it's definitely something I can see myself repurchasing down the line. It had a thinner formula, it had decent coverage, it did exactly what I want a foundation to do. I want it to stay on my face, I don't want it to be thick or cakey looking, I don't want it to feel like I have anything on my face, and I want it to have decent coverage so that it kind of just evens out any redness or scarring that I have on my skin. So that one did all of that. I really liked that foundation. The second favorite is the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray. That's probably no surprise to you guys. I have used up, I think, like 4 of those this year. I like that I can get it for pretty cheap from Sephora's website. They usually have a duo that they sell around the holidays every year. They sell 2 for $42, and then you can get your 20% off on top of that. So that's a really great deal, especially since full price they're like $32. Very much recommend. Love that setting spray. Definitely my most repurchased makeup product ever. The third product is the NYX Micro Brow Pencil. I'm not sure if I showed that in an empties video or not. I was in the shade Taupe. I love that it has lots of different color options. They even have like an auburn, like a redhead option, which I know is kind of hard to find in the drugstore. It's $10. You can get them buy one get one half off whenever NYX has sales, so you can get 2 for $15. I think they're very comparable to the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz. I will definitely buy the NYX one again. The next one is a non-cruelty-free product. It's the Benefit What's Up. I ended up really enjoying using that one in one of my project pans. It was a cream to powder type of formula. I haven't been able to find an exact dupe for it yet. The Cover FX Bubbly Stick is same color, but not the same formula. I always get compliments when I wear it, and I even got compliments on it when I wore it in a video. It was like a project pan update video. I just really liked how that looked on my skin. I loved the color, I loved the formula. If I can find a cruelty-free dupe, I will definitely let you know. I'm kind of on the hunt to find one myself, but that one was definitely a favorite of all the makeup that I used up last year. And the very last one was the It Cosmetics CC Cream. I loved the formula. I loved how it was moisturizing. I loved that it had an SPF of 50. I loved that it had decent coverage, but it wasn't cakey looking. It wasn't the best for long lasting, but if I used a really good setting spray, that wasn't a problem. I just really liked that product a lot. I would definitely repurchase that this year. And now for my 5 least favorite. The first one is a foundation that I used up at the beginning of the year. It was the Revlon Color Stay Whipped Foundation. There were some things that I really liked about it, so I was able to use it up, but there were definitely a lot of things that I didn't like about it. The first being that it was a very heavy, like dimethicone type feeling product. So when you put it on, even if you put a thin layer on, it just felt heavy. Like you could feel it on your skin. Wasn't the best for wearing in warm temperatures, not at all. Just melted off your face. Definitely a product you had to heavily powder because it never set on your face. It always just kind of felt cakey. It never looked cakey. That was weird because it never looked like it was a lot on your face, but it definitely just felt like it. And you could honestly like take your fingernail and like scrape the top layer of foundation off your face. And I do not like that in a foundation at all. I did really like the color match. It was like the exact same color as my skin. It was a perfect color match. And I also just really love how it looked on my skin. It just made my skin look flawless. Like, I really liked the way it looked, and that's the only reason I used it up. And on top of that, it was like $14 or $15, and I used it up in like a month. Like, I never go through foundations that quickly, and that one was gone in a month's time. It was crazy. So definitely not one that I would repurchase. Another one is the Soap & Glory Thick and Fast Mascara. I did not like the formula. It was very, very wet, and so it was really messy, and I found that it didn't really build or give me any volume. It kind of just lengthened a little bit and then tinted my lashes. Didn't really do much for me, so I didn't like that. And I also didn't like that the wand was like huge. It was a garbage wand, by the way. I didn't like the wand at all, and also the wand was very big, so every time I tried to apply it, I would just get it everywhere because I'm not a professional here. I'm just putting on makeup early in the morning, and I don't want to have a mascara that's like super difficult to use. And it was messy. It was really wet. It never actually dried up. I used it for 3 months because I thought eventually the formula will dry up a little bit and maybe it'll be better, and it never did. It was still super wet after 3 months. Wasn't a fan, would not recommend or repurchase. The third least favorite product was the Bare Minerals Translucent Duo. It was okay. There was nothing wrong with it necessarily, but it's $32 and it's just not worth that at all. Definitely not worth it. It had a matte side and a glow side. The glow side just had like pieces of glitter in it. It didn't actually give you a glowy look at all. I think they were trying to do like an hourglass powder type of situation, and it wasn't anything like the hourglass powders. I would recommend just getting the hourglass powders if that's what you want. They were okay, they were fine to use up, but would I spend $32 to buy it again? No. The fourth least favorite product was the Stila watercolor blush. I think mine was in the shade Rosewater. I talked about this a lot more in my how long does it take to use up a blush video. I was very upset because it was an expensive blush. I think it was like $26 maybe, and I only used it for like 2 or so months and it was dried up and all the product was gone. And a lot of people commented on that video saying that theirs was not the case. Theirs didn't dry up as quickly as mine did. Maybe mine was older, maybe it sat on the shelf for a while before I bought it, but it just dried up way too quickly. Definitely a least favorite, definitely would not repurchase. And then the very last one is the Marc Jacobs lip liner in the shade Honey Bun. I talked about this in a project pan. I really, really liked the color, but I hated the formula and I didn't like the packaging either. It was an extremely dry formula, so if I had it on my lips for longer than like an hour or so, it just looked terrible. It just made my lips look so much drier than they were. And also, I don't like lip pencils that have like you have to spin it up. I don't like lip pencils like that because when you apply them, I feel like they chip off, like they chunk off really quickly, and they also break inside the container very often. I prefer a pencil or like a plastic pencil that you sharpen. So while I did really like the color, I did not like the packaging, I didn't like the formula, and I also didn't like the price. It was like $24. There's no need for that. So those are my 5 favorite and least favorite makeup empties from 2017. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it was informative and kind of fun, just like a yearly wrap up for 2017. But in the meantime, that's everything I have. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys!